So, I saw that picture of Jared Leto as a Joker. Uh, had some thoughts on it. I think now more than ever, that old adage of there's no such thing as bad publicity rings especially true in the internet age. I mean, we have these big studios, dropping their pieces of news, dropping their pieces of, promotional material, always getting unexpected results, unexpected responses, especially when it comes to these studios doing movies on very beloved properties, especially with comic books. So there are very loyal fan bases who feel very possessive and have a very, differing idea of what they'd want to see through certain characters. So with DC in particular, it's been a wild ride, man. Like, what the fuck? Ben Affleck is Batman. What the fuck is, Wonder Woman doing in this movie? Jesse Eisenberg is Lex Luthor. Oh, hey, that teaser trailer's kind of cool. What the fuck is with this Joker picture? So, I mean, it's all over the place. But, I mean, whether or not there's negative, positive, or mixed reaction, it creates a dialogue. People are talking about it. It hypes it up. So either way, they're getting the job done. And sure, I'll comply. People are going to go on Twitter, talk about it, Facebook, talk about it, their blogs, talk about it, get in front of the fucking YouTube camera and talk about it, which is what I'm doing. So I want to share some thoughts. Of course, you've probably seen the picture. We have this image of Jared Leto as the Joker, and he has kind of this killing joke pose to him that's kind of cool. So obviously there's some inspiration there. And he has the cool, crazy eyes. He has the green Joker hair, so something that looks familiar. So we know it's the Joker, but then there's some, unfamiliar things, or at least kind of new things that we haven't quite seen before. Particularly with the tattoos, which I think is the highest portion of debate when it comes to this image. So seeing all those tattoos there, it might, throw some people off, and it might turn some people off, I think, just because it is so out there. But you can kind of appreciate that they are trying to do something at least a little bit different, because I think what the goal is to avoid direct comparison between Heath Ledger and Jared Leto, because I mean that was bound to happen no matter what. I mean that's something that's hard to live up to. So I think by distancing themselves from being able to do that comparison, creating this bold Joker, I think that's something that they're aiming for, and I think it's something that they have achieved. I mean, so far people aren't really bringing that up too much. Oh, it doesn't look as good as Heath Ledger's Joker because it's just so different. And it is kind of interesting how weird, the internet and reaction works, because, when you think back to when Heath Ledger was announced, just Heath Ledger's name alone kind of sparked that kind of concern, that debate, like, what the fuck, Heath Ledger? What? Why is he doing it? And then they showed that picture, they revealed that picture of Heath Ledger that looked pretty cool, looked pretty dark and scary, and then it was kind of like, oh, okay, I think he could do it. The rest is history, of course. With Leto, it's been kind of like the opposite thing, where, first his name is announced, and you're like, yeah, Jared Leto, I can totally see that. Great actor, Oscar-winning actor for Dallas Buyers Club. He can definitely pull off the Joker. Now this picture comes out and people are like, what the fuck is this? So it's causing that kind of debate, and it's good to get that dialogue going. It's creating the hype for the movie. So the studios have done their job, so good on them. I'm personally not crazy about it. I don't really like it that much, but I mean, obviously you're going to hear, oh, it's way too early to tell. Yes, that's true, but just aesthetically alone, it looks a little bit I don't know, loud, a little too on the nose with certain aspects to it. Like, literally, he has ha ha ha, written on him, damaged written on his forehead. That's a little bit too fucking much, I think. And the thing is, I mean, obviously, Joker is a character who there will be different interpretations to him, and there have been in the past. But, like, say, for example, if you even think back to Cesar Romero as a Joker, a wonderful Joker. I mean, really, he's a Joker of his time, very appropriate for his time. But all it takes is just one little thing. So you watch the old Batman '60s show or the movie, see Romero as the Joker, and you're enjoying it. Then you start like looking a little closer, and you're like, why didn't he shave his mustache? Why did he paint the fucking white makeup over his mustache? That's really distracting. And I think that's going to be the case with the Joker in Leto's version, where obviously we can imagine that the Joker isn't going to be shirtless throughout the whole movie. At least let's hope not. But it's going to be we're going to be like staring at his forehead, like what the fuck were they thinking with that? So that's a cause for concern, I think. So there's going to be a little distraction like that. It could be a brilliant performance, but we're always going to stop and I don't know, take issue with that. At least I might. But who knows? Maybe he might be so great in his performance that we just kind of get used to it and think that's the way it should be. And in terms of kind of the vibe of what the picture itself and what this visage of the Joker is kind of giving off, it's that it is kind of this, it's almost like a sexy kind of Joker, where he is a little bit more sexualized, like say a rock star, and Leto is a rock star, so I mean there's very little reason for him to kind of branch out and kind of interpret and create a different persona with that character. So I think that's kind of what they're going for. That's kind of what it looks like, this rock star, and I think that's something that a lot of people are looking for in the Joker, especially since this is the Suicide Squad. So it's going to be, at least in part, taking a look at the relationship between him and Harley Quinn. Now, we haven't seen Harley Quinn yet, so it'll be interesting to see, how Margot Robbie looks in that character and how they kind of, match together. Because there is this kind of desire through, a lot of fans to see this kind of, kind of like a Bonnie and Clyde, Mickey and Mallory kind of, rebel criminals against the world kind of thing. There is a demand for that. You hear from a lot of people that, their favorite aspect of the comics or the cartoon is that relationship between Harley and the Joker. So I think that's kind of what they're going for. They're going for something sexy, something modern, and I absolutely appreciate that. And, needless to say, this is going to be a movie more aimed at teenagers, the young teenagers. So whereas you'd see, let's say Batman versus Superman coming out, probably, 5-6-year-olds will be taken to see that movie. But even by the title alone, Suicide Squad, I don't think younger kids are going to be taken to that movie. So it's going to be more, 14, 15, 16 kind of crowd. The PG-13 crowd, basically, which is what they're going for. Where that, age level, there's, the fans who really like the Joker and Harley Quinn. They respond to that. They see the Joker as this heroic figure, and him and Harley Quinn, this great relationship of these two outsiders and these two damaged individuals. So they can respond to that. So I think that's what they're kind of pandering towards, for lack of a better word. I mean, come on, it is kind of pandering, but you can kind of see at least what they're going for. So, I mean, it could work great within the confines of Suicide Squad. Like, David Ayer, he's kind of, this is his own vision. But the thing is, and what maybe the problem might be, is that it's not just this movie. DC is doing what Marvel is attempting, well, what has done with their universe, create this whole crossover kind of universe where, this character, that character, they all can kind of intertwine in this huge overall plot. But when you think about it, this version of the Joker could work tremendously well with Suicide Squad. But he might not be compatible with, say, Batman does his own individual movie, the Dark Knight Returns inspired Ben Affleck grizzled Batman. Just kind of picturing him and that Jared Leto Joker together. That's kind of weird. I don't know. So it is way too early to tell, but I don't know. It's a little bit worrying to see their vision of the Joker. It's just a little too much. I think maybe if they got rid of the teeth, if they got rid of the fucking stupid forehead tattoo, I think that's fine. But I think they just wanted to make it stand out too much, that I think it's a little bit of overkill. But again, I'll say it over and over again, a little too early to tell, but at the same time, like, let's say, for example, I mean, we've seen different versions of the Joker, not just in movies, but in comics, cartoons, all that stuff. There's certain aesthetic versions and standalone aesthetic versions of the Joker that work and don't work. Like for example, I really fucking hate the Joker in that cartoon in the mid 2000s, The Batman. I thought that was a really stupid looking Joker. Even in the comic books, if you look at certain versions of the Joker that aren't quite good. So let's say this Jared Leto Joker, this visual interpretation of the character was put in a comic book, and I was reading that comic book, I'd be like, I don't like the way this looks. So I'm basing it on that alone. So I think probably the challenge here is to get the absolute full kind of experience of the Joker and Leto's interpretation. He's described the Joker as majestic, so there's definitely other aspects aside from the visual look of the Joker that will be explored. So it's whether or not those aspects kind of shine through the aesthetic look of the Joker, whether or not it'll entirely work. But I think if I saw this picture inside a comic book, I'd be like, this sucks. So I'm not crazy about it, but I'm not gonna come on here and be like, fuck this movie, this is so fucking stupid, this isn't the Joker. No, come on. Let's try to be open here. But I don't know. So I guess we'll see. That's pretty much all I have to say. I mean, I've rambled on long enough here about a stupid fucking picture on the internet. But studios doing their jobs. We're talking about it. Hype is being created. So it is what it is. So I guess we'll have to wait until whenever the hell the movie opens. I don't know. So that's my little rant or babbling or whatever on the new released picture of the Joker with Jared Leto. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you later.